So hello everyone, today in this video we are going to talk about array methods in JavaScript. So after watching this video, you are not only going to understand its concept little bit deeply, but also going to have a good command on how to code the array methods. And it will be very helpful for you if you are building any projects or you are giving any interviews. So, if you also take a look on the MDN docs, then you will find that there are various methods of arrays, right? There is a huge list of it. You will find add, concate, fill, filter, find index, and you will also see the join, keys, map. There is a huge list of it, right? But in this video, we are only going to cover some of the important ones and that are actually frequently used, right? So these are some of the array methods that we are going to talk about. These are some methods. The first one is a map. Second one is filter, then sort, reduce, slice, and then splice. So these are the methods that we are going to talk about. Also, we will have some coding tasks related to these. So you will have a good coding command on these array methods. Now we will start this with a very simple one. That what is actually an array? That we all know there is a simple definition of this. A single variable that is used to store multiple items or elements. That's it, right? That is very simple. But now we are going to dive little deeper inside array in JavaScript. How this is different from another programming language. Now let's see what MDN doc says about the array, right? See this enables storing a collection of multiple items under a single variable name, right? This is the similar definition that we have talked about, right? Now read this line array object. Now you may be wondering that why we are saying array and object, right? Array is different thing and object is different thing. Now this makes the array in JavaScript little bit different from other programming languages. In this, array is actually a non-primitive data type. In JavaScript, array is non-primitive data type. This means let's see the definition of the primitive in the MDN docs. What it says. It says that in JavaScript, a primitive data type is a data that is not an object. Also, it does not have any methods and properties, right? This means that let's first understand what is primitive data type. Primitive data type is actually the data types that are inbuilt in the programming languages. If we talk about the JavaScript, then you will see there are 7 primitive data types. Here it is written string, number, right? These are all the primitive data types that exist in the JavaScript, right? And actually, the primitive data types cannot be altered, means they cannot be changed, right? You will can see here also, right? The all primitives are immutable, that is they cannot be altered, right? But now we talk about the array. So array is a non-primitive data type, and if it's non-primitive data type, this means it has object and and also has a methods and properties. That's why we can say array have a methods, right? So array is an object, that's why we are saying here array object. Now let me show you one thing, right? In a console, right? In a console, if I try to initialize an array, think just an empty array, right? And just I console log it, right? Console log arr. So what you are expecting this? So if you see this, you will seeing that length is 0. Of course, this is a empty array, but you will seeing something like this, a prototype, and it contains a use list, right? Is this the same thing that we are saying, the array methods? Yeah, this is there is a add, and also you will find a map, right? You will see a map here, right? Map. You will see a filter, right? So as I already told you that array object, right? Array object. So one thing you remember for right now, that every array has a inbuilt property, right? And that property is called a prototype, right? Even a empty object, if you do not define any property, by yourself, then also it will have a inbuilt property that is also that is called a prototype, right? So this is about a prototype. I will also make a separate video later. So now we are going to practice these array methods: map, filter, sort, reduce. So we are going to have a good practice on this. So what I have done is I have made an array of objects. So you will see this, and every object means every of this contains the first name, last name, score, and status. Means they are marital status, right? They are married or single. So now let's start with our task one. So our task one is actually based on the map method. So our task one is we have to actually return an array of the first name and last name of students with their respective index. Okay. So we have an student array. Okay. Let's see what we can do here. So let's use a variable name, a const name. Okay, because we are using the first name and last name, right? It be a name. Okay, so students array, its method map. I'm using arrow function for this. Okay, I am using an arrow function, and let pass its arguments according to the map method. We know that what are these arguments are. So let's understand this. This student is actually the current object. Means when we map an array, it iterates over the whole objects. Means in this case, the whole objects means whole elements. So when I say student, okay, when it start iterating, so it start with the zeroth index, right? So map method actually uses the student. This means it indicating this one, this first one. Okay, also it returns the zero as a parameter, means this uses the zero. Okay, and similarly happens when it the map method, in the map method when iteration come in this one, it will use the one as an index and this as a current item, right? So this current one is student and this is the index, right? Okay, so let's see, we can write f name for the first name. Let's store this. So for this is student dot first name. Okay, and const l name for the last name. So as it is written that we have to return array with the first name and last name with their respective index. So what we can do here is we can use an index. We can just concate all these as a string. All right, what we are doing is we are concatenating all these and returning this. Now let's see what it will give as a result in a console. Now let's see here, we are getting the answer here as a console. See this. Let's see the fifth index here, right? Fifth index. So it iterating. So see, this is a fifth. This representing the index. This is fifth index. So as we have written this index, and this is the index fifth, and this is the first name Hermione, and the last name is a Granger. So this is the in string that we are expecting. So this is the result that we are actually expecting. Now let's try to make this code smaller. So what we can do, just remove this one, right? We can just use it in a single line. We can make it a single line code. So just remove this index, and instead of using the fn, we can directly write the student dot first name and here you can say student dot last name. Okay, now if you see the console you will get the same result here. Now start our second task, that is based on the filter. So our task is what? Our task is we have to filter those who are passed, that is who scored more than 45, means they are passed if they have scored more than 45 and merit, right? So we have to find those who are actually passed and merit, right? So what we can do here, we can say const, let's say passed, right? So friends, friend dot filter, we are using this method filter. So we will get the student, just like in the map we are getting the current item. Actually this filter method returns the new array to us, the new array, just like in a map also returns us the new array, but in case of filter it also returns a new array, but it actually remove the items if they are not following the condition that we provide. Like we say if student dot score is greater than 45 and then student dot status is married, then we have to say return true. Okay, now if we try to log this out, try to console log, see what we will get in the console. So we are getting John who scored 65 and married, so it is so he is passed, right? So these are passed and married. Okay, so this is the result. Also if you want, we can simply like instead of writing this whole code, we can also make it single line code and say this. So instead of writing true, okay, what does it means? This means that if this value, if this value is true, then it will return true. This is what filters do. It returns if the condition is satisfied, it returns true. If condition is not satisfied, it returns false to us. So accordingly, it only filters out everything that we needed, right? So we can see this. This is our result, the same one. Okay, we are getting this. Now let's start with our task 3. So what is our task 3? Task 3 is actually based on the sort method, right? So in this task, we have to sort the student with their scores in the increasing order. So let's quickly do the code. What we can do, let's say const sorted, right? And in this, we will do like we have students, okay, and we will write a sort. So let's say we have a student 1 here as a first parameter, the second one. So they will actually student 1 and student 2 will be compared. Let's see how. In this we will say if student 1 dot score, because we have to sort them according to the score. If student 1 scores less than student 2 dot score, we what we have to do? We will say return -1, right? Otherwise, we can say return 1. Now, if you check this and let's console log sorted, you will see this. Let's see the console, and in this console, if you see this, let's see the first object. In the first object, score is 2. In the first index, this is score 11. Let's see the 11th one. This is 99, and then 12th one is 100. This means they are just increasing, right? So they are increasing. So this is actually the first task. Now, if you want to uh, sort them according to the decreasing order. So what we can say, instead of writing -1 here, we can simply say +1 and here -1. Now if you see this, this will be reversed, means this will be in decreasing order, right? If you see, this will be 2. Yeah, this is 2. So now let's move to our task 4, and this task is based on the reduce method, right? In this, what we have to do is we have to show the total score of all the students. This means all the students who have secured whatever the marks, we have to sum all these scores, right? So let's say const total score, okay, and see students dot, we are using reduce. So in this reduce, first we have to use accumulators. Let's say total and the current one. Okay, this is the current object. We can say, and we can do what we can simply say return. Uh, we have to also initialize the initial value. So initial value must be 0, and we have to return the total and plus the current dot score, because we need a score, right? And if we try to see what it will console, let's see what it will console. It is consoling 721. So this is the total score that we are getting after this. So now we are only left with the last two tasks, right? So we have to use a slice method and the splice method, right? So actually we are given the phones array. Okay, so what is the task 5? Let's quickly see this. We have to only show the array from Apple to Nokia. Means we have to console log Apple, Xiaomi, and Nokia. Okay, so let's see what happens, right? So let's say cons new phones equal to, and we will say phones dot slice. So what we need to understand here in a slice is, if we have to include the 0th index, 1 index, and 2 index, we have to simply include this, right? 0 as a starting, we have to start from 0 and we have to end it to 2. But here we will write 3 because this is exclusive here, means 0, 1, and 2 only we return. Now, if we try to log console.log new phones and say new, so we will get Apple, Xiaomi, and Nokia. Apple, Xiaomi, and Nokia. Also, if we say, what if I just write one here? Okay. If I write just one here, so one will be the starting point, but there is no ending point. This means after the index one, all the elements of the array will be there, right? Now this was the thing. Now see, what if I write -2 here, right? It will show Nokia and Samsung. This means that when I when I write a sign minus, so it will start from the end. This is -1, Samsung is at the -1 index. Nokia is -2 index. So if I also write from 0 to -2, okay, or 0 to -1, I will get a similar result from Apple to Nokia. Apple to Nokia. So this is I can write. Now move to the task 6 of the splice. Okay. Now let's first see what it is doing. Let's first of all let's comment this out so it will not affect our next operation that we are going to do on using a splice. So let's use the phones dot splice, and here you will have to understand when I have to pass the I'm passing three parameter. What is my goal is I have to replace the Nokia with the Vivo. They are saying add Vivo at place of Nokia and remove Nokia. So first I have to see what I have to remove Nokia. What is the index of Nokia? 2. So we have to write 2 here means targeted index. Now what we have to say here in the second parameter, how many elements you have to remove from this index 2. I have to remove only 1. So right here 1. What you have to add here after removing? You add Vivo. So if I try to console.log phones here, see what changes you will get. You will see the Apple, Xiaomi, Vivo, and Samsung. Can you notice the Vivo replaces the Nokia here, right? Okay. So what you can also notice here is that the phones is actually affecting the original array, right? But in case of the slice, it is not affecting the original array. Let's see. When I say, when I say after this, okay. So if I say console.log, and here if I write the phones here, these phones will not be affected. This last one, Apple, Xiaomi, Nokia, and Samsung, right? Nothing happened, nothing changes with the original array, right? Now, if you see, now let's comment this and see in case of the splice. What I have said, I have just used the operation on the original array, and can you see this? This original array has been changed, right? Okay, now let's see what more I can do with the splice. Suppose if I do not want to delete any of them, just I have to add in place of Nokia, I have to use a Vivo and shift the Nokia. So see this, Apple, Xiaomi, Vivo, Nokia, and Samsung, right? Also, if I want to add more after this, I can add like I can add spice. Now, can you see this? At the second index, I am added Vivo Spice, right? See, if I wanted to add nothing, but I have to delete. Suppose I have to delete the two here, right? Can you see Apple, Xiaomi, and I have deleted from index 2. I have deleted the two, that is Nokia and Samsung. They are deleted, right? Suppose I add one more here, like say H. Okay, can you see this is not deleted?